We're here outside Scottish Parliament, surrounded by thousands of people who have come here to support the Syrian refugee crisis that is happening right now. An estimated 11 million people from Syria have been displaced from their country, with around 4 million being displaced from Syria.
I really believe in borders, but in this specific case, when we're speaking about Syrian refugees, this country, our country, has created the turmoil in the Middle East. We've encouraged all these wars to take place out there. We've created this disaster, and we have a moral responsibility to accept people here to look after them.
Graham O'Neill. I'm from the Scottish Refugee Council. I live in Linlithgow in West Lothian. Firstly, I don't think it's a crisis for governments. I think it's a crisis for people that are fleeing persecution and conflict in some very troubled parts of the world, particularly but not only in Syria. It's a massive displacement of people within Syria, 10 million people, 4 million refugees. Half of those refugees are children. Many of them are unaccompanied, that is, have lost their parents and loved ones. But there's other countries in the world like Eritrea, Afghanistan, Pakistan and others.
You know, it's easy to see these people as other and sort of this horde, different culture. You see them as terrorists or some people different, but I think they're just people.
I think the current crisis is based on a capitalist crisis. I think with socialist policies and socialist action that we can solve the refugee crisis and the crisis that is there for workers all over the world.
Well, obviously it's a really difficult situation, and I think an event like this is just really important to show that at the heart of all the politics and all the things that is happening in the EU, that there's just like a basic feeling of love and hoping to stand in solidarity with people in really desperate times.
And I think with this in particular, kind of looking at the refugee situation, we do want to welcome them into the UK.
Aside from it just being, I think so much of the time it's been discussed as almost a political thing, and it isn't. I mean, there are political roots to it, but this is a humanitarian crisis. It's not. It's about us, all of us.
For a start, it was caused by Western governments, and we should be taking responsibility. I don't believe that there should be any borders anywhere. There should be freedom of movement. I can't see a child there and not think it's my child. I can't see an older person and not think it's one of my relatives. So I've got to treat them the same as I would treat my own family.
So, I mean, our Western governments have been causing these problems by bombing and invading the countries where a lot of the refugees are fleeing.
We need to pressurise Turkey to stop attacking the PKK, the YPG and the YPJ, and allow them to do what they're doing, which is fight ISIS on the ground in the place that they live, rather than involve Western intervention that only involves more Western imperialism that is already the cause of all these conflicts in the first place.
So we're here walking up Arthur's Seat to show our support for everyone affected in this current refugee crisis. There's hundreds of people that have showed up from all different backgrounds to show their support.
It's creating all this, all these deaths and all this horrible stuff, and yeah, it has to stop.
I think that nobody wants to leave from his place, his original place, so if people are forced to leave, then we have to support them and respect them.
It's a very serious situation, and it's a complete tragedy, and you can't just stand by and ignore what's going on, because clearly it's going on, and it's the responsibility of first world nations, including the UK, that we offer any sort of support that we can.
Today we gather to show our solidarity with our fellow human beings from around the world. Solidarity not only with Syria, but with every country where life has become so intolerable that fleeing for your life is the only option now.
These candles here are lit in remembrance of the lives sadly lost in search of a safer home away from all the conflict and violence. I'm here with this 10-year-old boy called Ismail.
I was born in a ship in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. I lived for 4 years in Syria before migrating.
I'm Gais and I'm from Syria.
I'm James, I'm from Edinburgh.
It's really bad, I've experienced everything, seeing the people killed in front of me and dying. So it's really bad for someone who is in 17 years old.
I think people need to remember it's not just Syria. first of all. It's a huge area around that which has been affected. But the overall crisis needs to be tackled more by Western nations that have been ignoring it for so long.
The support shown today in Edinburgh for this See Syria event has been phenomenal, with people from all around the region gathering hand in hand to aid those affected by this and remember those who tragically lost their lives in search of a better and safer environment to live in. This has been Matthew Jameson reporting for Meghan Callaghan Photography outside the Scottish Parliament building in Edinburgh for this event, See Syria, that has been taking place today.
أدنبرا ترحب باللاجئين السوريين. شكرا أدنبرا، شكرا سكوتلاند.